everybody. Oh, gosh. Welcome to my channel. Oh, I got my morning frog still. Excuse me. I didn't cover my mouth, but I'm the only one in the car with me right now. So, my name is Jenny, and I talk about random things that pop into my head. And you don't have to agree with everything I say, but if you decide to put a comment in the comment section, I do ask that you be polite. And I want to talk about shrinkflation. You know, and this is, people are talking about this, and I think it's been going on for quite a while, to be honest with you. And you know, when you go to buy something and it seems like there's less in the package, or the whatever you buy is now smaller and the prices are going up, or maybe they charge the same price but you're getting less for what you used to pay for it. Yeah, shrinkflation. Or people are complaining because there's less filling in the Oreo cookies, things like that. You know, and I do think it's been going on for a while. And it's not just food. It's all anything that you consume. So paper products, other types of consumable things like cleaning products, and you know, maybe different kinds of hair products and beauty products, and so on and so forth. And so, yeah, you know, it gets on my nerves too. Well, I was in the store the other day, and I was shopping, and I got a really good deal on some things that are considered like maybe standard pantry items. Like, this is going to have to do with salad dressing, because I'm in a mode right now. It's very hot here this year, and I can't stand the thought of standing in front of a stove cooking in this weather. So we're eating a lot of cold foods like salads, which are better for you, but I have to have salad dressing anyway. And so I got the sour cream, and I got some mayonnaise, and those are things that I needed. I already have vinegar and oil and that kind of stuff. And that's thought about it, and I thought about during COVID too. You know, when COVID, they started price gouging everything, and you know, the shelves were bare and it was hard to find certain items. So despite the fact that I really honestly do not want to be in front of the stove, okay, but I can make my own salad dressing with just some oil and vinegar and some garlic powder. You could still get garlic powder for, you know, $1, less than $2. Salt and pepper, and there you go. You got yourself a vinaigrette. And they had limes on sale too. I didn't get them because I wouldn't be able to use them all that fast. But if you like limes, our Kroger there was, I think, a 3-pound bag of limes, and it was like 2 for $3 or something. Like, it was really cheap. And you know, and why not make some limeade instead of buying sodas? You know, you see what I'm saying? So that's the first thing that I think, that we can start making things from scratch. And even though I don't particularly want to be standing in front of stove cooking things on the stovetop, can still throw things in the oven. The oven might make the house a little bit hotter, but I'm not standing right there in front of it, you know. So maybe making a cake or some brownies or cookies, that kind of thing. And it's still cheaper if you make it from scratch than it is if you buy a mix. Well, even a mix is still cheaper than buying pre-made cookies. And you gotta admit, some things taste better homemade. They taste better homemade. I mean, and some things might be harder to make, like potato chips. If you like potato chips, that might be harder. But if you buy maybe regular potatoes and say you're going to make potato salad or mashed potatoes or something, if you maybe save the peels, clean the skins, save the peels and fry them or bake them or something like that, and you got another little snack, throw some cheese on it, some of that sour cream, because I got a big tub of it, and now you've got a snack that you can't even buy, you know. I'm just saying, maybe be a little creative or inventive with some of the things that you're doing at home by using basic pantry staples. Okay. And then same thing with consumables. You know, I know some people that go through so many paper towels. I don't really use a lot of paper towels myself. It's just not my thing. I'm a product of the 70s when they were talking about saving the rainforest, 70s and 80s, and saving the forest. So I don't use a lot of paper towels. I do have paper towels, but it takes me forever to go through a roll of paper towels. And the reason why is because if I spill something on the counter, I use the dish rag. I have a lot of dish rags that I use over and over and over again to wipe off the counters, to wipe off any spills and things like that. And dish towels, same thing. I use a dish towel to wipe my hands off. I don't use paper towels all the time. And, you know, when I was a kid, we never had paper towels in our house. You know what we used to drain bacon? We used paper bags. We saved the paper bags. Now, back then, when you went to the grocery store, that's all you had was paper bags. They didn't have plastic bags yet. So we always saved our paper bags, and we would split them open, and that's what we would drain the bacon on paper towels. I mean, on paper bags. And, you know, we don't get paper bags quite as often, but you're still getting paper bags when you go to smaller stores, you know, or like your fast food. Of course, fast food's become ridiculously expensive too. Ridiculously expensive. And just having a frame of mind of how can I save some money? Do I have food at home? Yes, I do. What's 30 minutes standing in front of your stove or cooking something, even in the microwave at home, versus going to the store? I mean, you know, like the fast food, if you're in the drive-thru. I don't know about you, but where I live, you can see I'm kind of creeping along, but that's because of construction. But there's a lot of people where I live. And every time I go to McDonald's or any other kind of place like that, there's always somebody in front of me, and I always have to wait, you know, so there's that time frame. And then going home, you know, unless I'm going to eat in my car, which is a bad habit, by the way, in case you're wondering. But you know, if I'm getting dinner for me and Ray, I have to go home, so I gotta wait, I gotta drive, I gotta go home, and I've spent minimum for 2 people $20. Well, I can feed us for several days with $20. You see what I'm saying? And my time is worth more than that too, in the time that it takes to go and get these things. Whereas if I just make one trip to the grocery store, it's maybe an hour, and you know, I can eat for several days on that $20 that I spent. So thinking about that, what is your time worth? Because I trust and believe when these companies are shrinking down everything, they are looking at minute numbers and what it costs to employ the people who run the machinery, who mix up the formulas for whatever it is that they're buying, and the cost to have the electricity on to run the machines, etc., etc., etc. They look at every little expense that goes into manufacturing that product. And we don't have to do it on that level, but we do have to start, I think, really honestly, we have to start assigning a value to our time. Not our work time, but our time, the time that we own as a living human being. So whether you actually have a job where you get paid, or whether you're a homemaker, your time is still valuable. You still have a value to it. And so putting a value on that, and how much time you're spending running around, you know, French fries and hamburgers for somebody versus going to the grocery store, searching out the deal, looking at the packages. Now we have to also weigh them because rumor has it that the stores are inflating the weight on the packages more than what they actually weigh. I'm just saying that's a whole other video. But you know, it may be more cost effective, not only in your pocketbook, but time wise. Plus, you know, if you have a family, if you have children, that time in the kitchen for them, that can be learning time. It's a good bonding time, you know, to work together anyway, but that bonding time in the kitchen when you're teaching them how to measure out flour and how to measure out milk and how to crack an egg and what's the proper way to beat an egg, and this is how we scoop it out and we put it on the cookie sheet. Or, you know, we also, if we're going to cook, well, we have to, you know, be responsible and clean up after it, and you can wash and I'll dry, and, you know, all these different things that go into it. We're using that time not only to save money, not only to put value on our time, but also to help nurture our children and prepare them to be responsible adults, okay? At least doing minimal tasks that we have to do. I know it sucks, okay? But, you know, my point is that this could be quality time. My daughter, I'm telling you, I call her Mother Nature. She can grow anything. Like, she's got definitely the greenest thumb I have ever seen. And my grandson, who just turned 10 in April, he's 10 years old, but he's been in that garden with her since he was in a baby seat. No, she's not getting him sunburned. She's a good mother. But from the moment that he could walk, even before he could walk, he was out there in the garden with her, and he knows every single plant. He knows how to plant it. He is amazing. And now he's learning how to take that produce and the harvest that they get from their garden, and he's making things with it. She just had a whole day of preservation where she was making pickles and freezing and all these different things, and he is right there with her every step of the way, learning how to really provide for himself through nature and through gardening, you know. And that may not be your thing. I'm just using it as an example. We all have a talent and we all have things that we can do. So maybe you're not really good at gardening, but maybe the dads are good at building things or mechanics or something like that, or some kind of science thing. Get your kids involved, have them involved, you know. And it's not as a chore, but this is how we take care of our family. This is how we take care of our house. Yes, it is a chore. In reality, it is a chore, but we're not going to treat it as a chore. We're going to treat it as a way that we bless our home. You understand? There's a difference, and it's all in the attitude, and make it a part of being part of the family. This is how we do it. I spent a lot of time with my dad when I was a kid, and I'm so grateful that I did. You know, he taught me how to fish. That's valuable. And the same thing, you know, like we have things divided up between girls and boys, and this is a girl thing and this is a boy thing. We need to stop looking at basic life skills that way, because I think it handicaps our kids when they become grown up. And what I mean by that is, you know, there's nothing wrong with a girl knowing how to change a tire or how to change her oil, or at least the basic things that you need to know to maintain a car. There's nothing wrong with that. We should be teaching those things to our girls, and we should be teaching our boys how to cook, how to clean, how to do their laundry, how to make a bed, you know, all these different things that are traditionally female. And it's not to demean. I'm not saying that traditional life, if that's the way you choose, I'm not demeaning that either. What I'm saying is that nobody is a part of a couple their whole life. There's a span of time from when your children leave your home to when they establish their own home where they're going to be single, and they may have issues that come up, and they're definitely going to have to know how to feed themselves. But, you know, there may be issues that come up, and there's nothing wrong with knowing how to use a power tool, even though you have your nails looking pretty, okay? You can still know how to use a saw and a drill. And there's nothing wrong with a guy, doesn't make him less of a man if he knows how to cook an omelet or roast a turkey. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So if we get back to basics and stop all this needing and wanting. And the other thing is teaching your children how to be wise with their money. And I know that's hard for some of us grown-ups. We like to spend. You know, it's fun to shop. It really is. I shop for my store. It's part of my job, but I do it. And so if we teach our children how to be frugal with their money, and that's not a bad word, by the way. Frugal is not a bad word. It's wisdom, okay? So are we buying things used? Are we fixing what we have? Do we know how to sew on a button or fix a hem, or, you know, those kind of things? Is it maybe you come across some fabric or material somewhere or yarn, and you learn how to crochet and make a blanket, or how to make a simple bag, or, you know, all these different things. And there's ways that we can actually go back to how things used to be, like with our grandparents and great grandparents, for some of us, who, you know, that's what they did. They fixed what they had if it got broken. They took care of what they had so that it didn't break. And they learned to wheel and deal too. You know, we have so many resources now where we can buy things online, or, you know, through Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace and eBay and all these other places. And sometimes, you know, you can get a deal if you work with the seller. And yard sales, all these different ways to get things, so we don't have to buy something new. Start utilizing that. And I tell you something, you know, we have so much power as consumers, and right now I think we're shifting. People are getting mad about the tip culture. I just did a video on that the other day, and I feel like maybe we should start paying people commission instead of having them depending on tips. And I also started, you know, I sell used things, and so we're talking about shrinkflation. But, you know, if we're consumers and we stop buying Oreos and Keeblers and start buying more flour, which that's another thing that shrank. You know, you used to buy a 5-pound bag. If you look at those bags now, they're not 5 pounds anymore, at least with sugar. Sugar now comes in a 2-pound bag, and it used to be 5 pounds when I was a kid, and even when I was a young adult. And I don't know when it was, but it's been a 2-pound bag for a long time. You bought a 5-pound bag, and you bought a 1-pound bag, you know, or box. So I'm just saying, we need to be smarter about it. Start thinking about ways that we can save, or do we really need this, or what's a cheaper way to get about this? And if we get away from a lot of this pre-made stuff, and that's where most of the shrinkage is, we're going to be eating healthier and we'll have more abundance by shopping smarter, by shopping basic. Just saying.